Hello and welcome to the Emotional Hunger Games. And your brain is the one that's rigging the game. So let's get straight to it, all right? You know what needs to change. You see the patterns, you've done the work, right? Read the books, watched the TED Talks, had the aha moments, maybe even sat through a therapy session or two where your therapist subtly gave you that look. You know, the one that says, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed look, right? They obviously don't say that, although I've had a therapist ask me why I couldn't get my shit together before. That was fun. But even if they look at you, you can't make eye contact because it's like they're seeping into your soul, right? They're judging your very existence. And then what do? You leave feeling motivated as hell. You're ready to break the cycle and feel obligated to prove to your therapist or that person you've never met from that TED Talk you heard that one time, right? That you are going to just stop it with the excuses and the lack of boundaries. It's like you're talking to your parents all over again. You're over here like, okay, I got it. I'll just be different starting now. As if there's a magic switch, right? And then what happens? 2 weeks later, you're right back in your old ways. Same overthinking, same avoidance, same late night text to someone who doesn't even deserve a hey, and they should have been blocked and stayed blocked, by the way. Same realizations. It's fine. I just slipped. It's fine. Nobody's perfect, right? But deep down, you are wondering why the hell is not doing what you know you'd be better off not doing so damn hard. Why can't I just do what I know is best, right? Why is it that no matter how much you want to do things differently, no matter how exhausted you are by your own bullshit, you can't seem to make new habits stick? Change is wanted, but never achieved. And don't even try to hit me with the maybe I'm just not disciplined enough excuse, right? That's a lie. So let's just take a break from the spiraling into self-loathing act that you've mastered real quick, okay? Because you are not weak, you are not lazy, and you definitely don't lack discipline. What you're dealing with isn't some deep character or personality flaw that you have to just accept and beat yourself up about for the rest of your life over and over again, right? It's biology. Your brain is wired to fight change, even when you desperately want it. So let's get real, get raw, and get into part 2 of how to rewire your brain and hijack the system we call your brain. Let's go.
Welcome to the carnival. I'm the ringleader now. Won't hear a sound at all as I bury you 6 feet underground.
All right, so last episode, we exposed how your brain keeps you on autopilot, how neural pathways run the show, how your hippocampus is a pattern recognition machine that keeps you stuck in the same damn cycles, right? So here's the problem. Your brain loves efficiency. If you grew up in chaos, your brain wires you for chaos. If you are conditioned to overfunction, your brain rewards burnout. If your nervous system learned that vulnerability equals pain, your brain will make damn sure that you avoid it, even if that means sabotaging a healthy relationship. Your brain doesn't care about your healing. It cares about predictability. So when you try to change, when you attempt to break the cycle, your brain throws a fit because to your brain, new equals dangerous. Which brings us to today. Why change takes so damn long and how to hack the system, okay? So the problem isn't you. It's the way your brain is wired to resist change at all costs. Your mind is built to fight new habits, even when you desperately want them. Your brain's number one job is efficiency. It doesn't care about your personal growth or healing that you've decided that you're going to change, right? It does not care about your vision board. It cares about one thing, making everything as easy and automatic as humanly possible. Which means the moment you try to introduce a new way of thinking, a new behavior, or a new pattern, your brain's like, no thanks. We already have a system in place. So, I mean, sure, it might be ruining your life, making you lose your sense of self and overall who you are. But hey, at least it's predictable. Which means the moment you try to do something different, whether that's setting boundaries, breaking toxic patterns, or finally choosing what's good for you, your brain throws a tantrum like a 2-year-old. That's because of two sneaky little players. We call them your basal ganglia and your amygdala. Now, first let's go over your basal ganglia, okay? Think of your basal ganglia like the foreman of a factory. It runs the same processes day in and day out without questioning them. It's like, okay, this just needs to be done. It's what allows you to brush your teeth in autopilot, drive home without thinking, and unfortunately, it's also what keeps you running back to toxic relationships, self-sabotaging, and over-analyzing everything until you give yourself an emotional migraine. That's why you sit there and say, I have a migraine for no reason. That's why we sit there and say, I'm so burned out for no reason, right? Because the basal ganglia doesn't care if something is good for you. It only cares about what's been repeated the most. It cares about what is being repeated the most. Because your basal ganglia doesn't care if something is good for you or self-destructive. It only cares what you've done the most. Repetition equals survival. That's why quitting something destructive feels wrong at first. Your brain has built a damn superhighway to that behavior. And the new path, it's basically a muddy street or a muddy trail, muddy street, whatever, in the middle of nowhere. And when you try to change, when you attempt to break an old habit or rewire a new way of thinking, your brain sounds the alarm. It activates your amygdala, your fear center, and the emotional dumping ground we talked about in the last video. Suddenly, you're filled with doubt, anxiety, and a deep urge to just go back to what's comfortable because you know it's comfortable. That's why change feels wrong. That's why new habits feel fake and unnatural. That's why even when you're miserable in your old patterns, your brain will try to keep you there. Think about it. You try setting a boundary. Oh, alarm, danger, abandonment, imminent danger, right? You attempt to slow down instead of overworking. Warning, you're not doing enough. Panic immediately. Recalculating, like that. That's exactly what it's like, right? You start dating someone who's actually healthy for you and no, you're way too safe. You give excuses, right? You run back to the emotional roller coaster that you're used to. Because new equals uncertain, and uncertain, that means danger. Congratulations. You're not bad at change. You're just hardwired for survival, not self-improvement. And if that doesn't click for you, let's try another example. Do you remember A Bug's Life? The ants lived in a system that was designed to keep them in line, right? Every day, same routine, same cycle, and then comes Flick, the glitch in the system, the one who questions everything, the one who sees that maybe there's another way to live. At first, they're rejecting him. Everybody rejects him. They ridicule him because change, that's terrifying. Oh no, we've been doing this for so long. That's not cool, right? But once they break out of their program way of thinking, they realize they were being controlled all along. So basically, your desire to change is really Flick against all the other bugs, right? You're trying to break free from a system, your brain's wiring, that doesn't want to be disrupted. it's going to fight you. And you've let it win over and over because, well, it's what you know and it's what you've done. And everyone else has convinced you that this is who you are. So you need to just get in line, right? Follow suit. But think about if you were to commit to the discomfort. What would happen then? What would happen if you were to commit to Flick and his promises and possibilities that he's been trying to make for you? You see, that's where the system gets hacked and it feels more chaotic, not less chaotic. Which brings me to why 21 days to change a habit is a damn lie. Okay, you probably have heard the whole, it takes 21 days to form a new habit thing, right? No, throw that out the window right now. Okay, that's like outdated psychology nonsense. And it's just like the actual science. It takes an average of 66 days for a new habit to fully stick. But we're impatient. So that seems like an eternity. You're like, 66 days, I can do that. When in actuality, you get to day 20 and you're like, this is so hard, right? But that's just the average. Some habits take months to rewire because changing a habit isn't just about discipline. It's about physically rewiring your neural pathways. So every time you repeat an action, your brain strengthens the neural connection that supports it. Think of it like a hiking trail. The path you've walked 1,000 times is clear, smooth, and easy as hell to follow. The brand new path, it's overgrown, messy, and takes a ton of effort to walk through. So let's just go through the way we know, right? At first, every step down that new path is exhausting. Your brain hates it. It wants to turn back to the old familiar path. But the more you walk it, the easier it gets. Eventually, the old path fades and the new one becomes automatic. That's real habit change. And this is where most people mess up because they try something new for 2 weeks, like we were talking about. They get frustrated when it doesn't feel natural, and then they give up because their brain convinces them that the discomfort means it's not working. Because discomfort is the sign that it's working. That is the sign. Look back at the Flick example. It was crazy and chaotic and all hope seemed lost again and again and again, right? But what if Flick never persevered through all of it? What if he gave in to the patterns and the what you know system? Which means the secret to actually changing your patterns isn't just about starting, it's about staying when it gets uncomfortable. So how do you make new habits stick before your brain throws a tantrum and tries to drag you back into your old ways? First, make the change so small your brain doesn't fight it. If you try to overhaul your life overnight, your brain will rebel hard. But if you introduce a tiny shift, one small step, your brain won't see it as a threat. Instead of forcing yourself to be more vulnerable, start by admitting one tiny thing that makes you uncomfortable. Instead of overhauling your entire morning routine, start by waking up 10 minutes earlier. Instead of trying to stop overthinking completely, start by pausing just for 1 minute, 60 seconds before you react to a thought. Small wins compound into big changes. And then focus on identity, not just the behavior. If you only focus on what you're changing, you'll always feel like you're forcing it. But if you shift your identity around it, your brain starts to accept it as the truth. So instead of saying, I'm trying to set better boundaries, try saying something like, I am a person who respects myself. Instead of saying, I'm trying to stop chasing emotionally unavailable people, just say, I am a person who only invests in people who invest in me as well. If I can't invest in me, I will never find someone who can invest in me because they will treat me like I treat me. Instead of saying, I want to be confident, say, I am someone who stands firmly in who I am. Because confidence builds when you repetitively accept and show up for yourself on a consistent basis. When you believe it's who you are, the habit starts reinforcing itself. And then thirdly, I want you to stop relying on motivation. Build discipline instead. So motivation, it's a temporary emotion. It will fade like those favorite jeans that make your butt look good. Discipline is what keeps you going when motivation disappears. It's your gym time that keeps that butt cute when those jeans fail you. So make it easy to stay disciplined. Set reminders. Create routines that remove resistance. Have a support system. When your brain fights you, when it tries to drag you back to the old ways, don't take it as a sign to quit. Take it as proof that your neural pathways are literally changing, even if they don't want to. It's like when you tell your kid to do something, you're like, I know you don't like it, but it really is going to help you, right? So here's your challenge for this week. Think about the habit that you most want to change. Maybe it's stopping self-sabotage. Maybe it's quitting overthinking. Maybe it's actually trusting people instead of assuming they'll let you down. Whatever it is, pick one small way to interrupt the pattern. Then do it, even if it feels awkward. Even when it feels uncomfortable, even when your brain screams at you to go back to the old way, because the only way to truly change isn't to wait until it feels natural. It's to stay in the discomfort long enough for it to become your new normal. Remember, you can only truly change when it becomes your idea, not everyone else's idea. And don't wait until next week to prove to yourself you can do this. Interrupt the pattern today. The smallest shift, the one you think won't even matter, is exactly the thing that rewires your brain. And if you're ready to stop waiting, stop hesitating, and finally start breaking the cycles that have been running your life on autopilot, then it's time to go all in. This is exactly what we do inside my 8-week Real and Raw Relationship Reset program, where we don't just talk about change, we make change happen. If you've been doing the inner work but still feel stuck in the same toxic cycle, still feel emotionally exhausted, and still let other people's issues hijack your peace, this program is your wake-up call that you've always needed and always been afraid to take. Okay, I designed this program to force your brain to rewire in real time, to help you stop running the same outdated patterns and start building real confidence, real self-trust, and real emotional freedom. This isn't just about relationships with others. It's about how you show up for yourself first and foremost. Because the second you start treating yourself like someone who matters, you'll stop settling for relationships that don't. So what's it going to be? You can keep waiting for the right moment, or you can decide that today is the day you break the pattern. The version of you that knows what you deserve, that holds your boundaries, that walks into a room like you belong there, you already know. You just have to stop hesitating and start showing up for you. The 8-week Real and Raw Relationship Reset program is open now, today. If you're ready to actually rewire your brain, break your toxic cycles, and step into the kind of relationships you actually want, then I want you to click the link. Just set up a call with me and we can just talk about all the things. I don't even give a crap. We can just have a conversation. Let's break open your tomorrow dreams and make them your today reality. And next episode, we're going to be breaking down exactly what it takes to rewire your nervous system so you can stop freaking out every time you try to change, okay? Because willpower isn't enough. If you don't train your body to tolerate change, your mind will always sabotage you. So sit in the discomfort, interrupt the cycle, and I'll see you next week. Bye.